it's Mark again, and I'm back for another Wednesday Live. It's 7 p.m, and every Wednesday at this time, I shall be doing a live on Facebook and YouTube. So, I'll give everybody a few minutes to catch up and to say hello. It's nice, so nice to see everybody here tonight. I do appreciate each and every one of you coming, spending an hour with me, doing a little bit of chat and some creating. So thank you for that. So tonight it's going to be a little bit different. I'll give everybody a few minutes to catch up, but yeah, we're going to do something a little bit different tonight. I'm going to be doing scrapbooking. Yes, I know. I am, without a doubt, a scrapbook novice, beginner. In fact, this tonight will be my very first page. So I've never made a scrapbook page in my life. Now, I can only presume that I will create it as I would any other project. Obviously, you may know me for doing card making, but scrapbooking is a little bit different for me. But I do like it because you get to keep those things. You get to keep whatever you create. Normally with cards, you are giving them away. I'm just going to say a few hello to everybody. We have Jane, Ellie, Angela, Ali, and the other Jane as well. So thank you everybody for popping in. So if you just joined me now, I am not making the card tonight. I am doing some scrapbooking. Yes, I know, it's a first. I know. I'm looking forward to it because obviously I'm trying to do something definitely outside my comfort zone, and sometimes that's a good thing to do, is to try and do things that you haven't done before. In terms of scrapbooking, it's very similar to card making. Obviously you're making a few more extra layers there, and you're maybe using photographs. So it's going to be a nice bit of fun. I think I'm going to enjoy this. You'll have to bear with me if things don't go quite right, but we'll find that out as we go along. Maybe they're going to work perfectly. Who knows? This is all live, unscripted, and yeah, just live and raw. That's what it's going to be. Jane is saying that I've been itching to start scrapbooking. Well, perfectly. You can join me. So yeah, it's going to be different, and there is. Let me just get. Why does that always appear when I think everybody knows some of my name. I am Mark Alexander. So, yes, for those of you who have just joined, Stephanie's saying, lovely, good evening everyone, lovely to be here. So, what has everyone been up to? I will just turn that camera around just so you can see what am I going to be doing today. So, I have some scrapbooking pages. I have a photograph that I'm going to use. I'll talk about more about that in a minute. And I have some ephemera bits and pieces there. Random ephemera, I must admit, from a few different collections from Arden. But I must say that today it's not about selling at all. I'm not even going to try and sell you something. Not that I do much. But this isn't about selling. Not at all. This is about remembering. So let me just turn this camera back around again, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. So this is in conjunction with Arden Creative Studios. They have come up with this amazing idea about raising the profile of scrapbooking, especially heritage scrapbooking. So this is a great time, obviously with Remembrance Season, but this is about remembering our heroes, whether it be as a tribute to those who maybe have served in the forces, or to the families who have to carry on their memories forward. So again, I'm trying to do something a little bit different. I think this is going to be really, really cool. I mean, don't forget, when you're kind of creating scrapbooks, these are like, every page is a story, and it can be told, whether it be photographs and words and memories. Maybe it could be ephemera, tickets, all those kind of things that you remember that person by. So it's going to be really cool. This is my great grandmother. So yeah, it's and that's my auntie. But actually, strangely enough, my auntie here I only recently found out a couple of years ago that she wasn't actually my auntie. Interesting that, but there we go. So, yeah, I'm going to be doing a little bit of creating. So it's going to be really cool, a bit different. I think this is going to be really, really different for me. If you've never done scrapbooking before, now's the time to have a go and have a bit of fun with it. And this is something that obviously you can put in your scrapbook and keep forever. But I like all this idea of putting layers onto pages, adding bits on, and then you're going to have a book full of these pages, and it's going to look absolutely amazing. So let me just move some of this ephemera out of the way and just talk about scrapbooking in general. Now, most scrapbooks are either 12 by 12 or 8 by 8. Now, because I am a novice, and if you are a novice and you're not sure, start with a piece that's, oh, camera's going a bit funny there. Start with a piece that's 8 by 8. Simply being because it's only bigger, slightly bigger than when you're making cards. So for me, I think a good point to start with, I mean, go for it. If you're confident, maybe you want to go for a 12 by 12. Bear in mind though that 12 by 12 is, you do have a lot of space to fill in. So for me personally, as a beginner, I'm starting off with an 8 by 8 scrapbook page. You can do them in any size you want in theory, but 8 by 8s and 12 by 12s, 12 by 12s are primarily the standard. Lots of people do slightly smaller ones than the 8 by 8, which I'm doing today. But they're good. They're both really, really good sizes. I think they're great. Again, I wanted to tell a story. So obviously, this is my story, as in it's my great grandmother. Obviously, I never met her, but I thought this would be a great place to start. I don't have many photographs of her, so this is probably one of the rarest ones. And obviously, if you do have your original rare photographs, I would get yourself to print them out again, because you don't want to, ruin the originals. I think that's just a sensible idea to do. So I'm just reading. So Stephanie's saying, I can't stay for long because I've got a Teams meeting. Those pesky Teams meetings, Stephanie, I know. Ellie's saying, I use family photos quite often as focal in my art journal. Okay, that's really cool. That's a good idea. I like that. And Ellie's also saying that nice vintage vibe. Well, it is kind of vintage-y. You can do modern scrapbooking, especially, obviously if you've got children, maybe you want to do brighter colours. But again, yesteryear, we're thinking back to a previous times gone by, remembering. So I've done this kind of like coordination here. I've taken some paper from a scrapbook pad. This is one of the Arden ones. And then I've also taken one from a different one as well. And then I'm using some of the Arden cardstock. So this is a nice brown. So you can see that looking for kind of some base colours here to work with. Simply because I just need somewhere to start. You need to make a start. So always good to start somewhere, whether it be right or wrong. It's always good. Now what I'm going to do first is I have got my blank 8x8 cardstock piece there. I'm going to use that, but I'm going to do a little bit of stenciling on this here now, and then we're going to add some papers and layers to it as well. So I'm going to do the stenciling first, simply because I want to make sure that bit's dry before I add anything on top. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my stencil, and again, this is one of my visible image ones, but this isn't about selling today. I'm just telling you just in case you were interested in it. Not that I'm trying to sell it in any way. Right. Okay, so I've got this. I like this one because it's got numbers on the side. So, thinking about time and everything. And I kind of like the slight grunginess to it. So I'm going to use this stencil here. I think it's really cool. Right, next thing we need is a palette knife. So grab myself a palette knife. And so I've got my palette knife. And we're going to need some texture paste. Now, I have some texture paste here, which is probably absolutely ancient. In fact, this has got to be seriously ancient. If anybody remembers Dreamweaver, this actual texture paste was really, really good. I wish they still did this stuff because it's amazing. Anyway, time's gone by. Right, and you can tell not a lot left in here. So, and this is like a nice kind of metallic copper. So I think that will work really, really well. I'm just going to put this here, and we're just kind of scraping seriously the bottom of the barrel here to get some out. And I'm hoping it'll work okay. Yeah, it looks like it'll do. Okay. So I'm just going to put some texture paste here, and again, just simply spread that down and across your stencil. Again, this is going to give you that lovely kind of metallic coppery look, and the copper will work really well on kind of browns and things anyway, so I think that's a kind of nice colour to go for. And I'm being very sparing here because I don't have that much of it left, so trying to maximise usage here before it runs out completely. Again, you know, you can if you're doing scrapbooking, feel free, if you've got something on the go, feel free to join me. I'll talk a little bit more about the Arden initiative with the remembering, because it's just started today, and I'll tell you how long that runs for. So let me just put this here. Right, okay, so just be careful when you line up further down, and again, we are seriously the bottom of the barrel now, but we should have enough. Okay, again, I'm not being too fussy here. Lift that off. This is going to add a nice little touch to the edge of your project, and I'll just scrape the rest of that back in here, what's left of it. Okay, I'll just move this out of the way. Again, you can see now I might have to help that dry, but you can see how cool and metallic that actually is, and that looks really good. You can just see those numbers there. So let me just put that here, and we'll quickly clean up. And again, this is it, you know, whether you can do stenciling, you can do inking, you can do so many different things to whatever you're creating. And I think that's what makes scrapbooking so cool. You can use all of the you know, experience that you've had, things that you've done before, you know, in different art forms, and you can apply that to your scrapbooking. So again, really, really cool to have a go. Let me know what everyone's doing tonight. It'd be good to know whilst I'm creating this gorgeous page. Right, clean that up as best I can, and we'll move on. Right, so next thing we want to do is, whilst that's drying just a little bit, in fact I might just help that just a touch. Again, you know, if we're going to add layers to this, we really do want to make sure that it is dry. So I'm just going to help that along a second. We have lots of people here, so I'm really pleased to see that. Hi Brenda, how are you? I know with scrapbooking is, in terms of out of my comfort zone, definitely, but you know, I think that's nice to be able to do different things. So I'm just going to help that along just a little bit, and we'll let that dry whilst I add some of the other stuff to it. So, I mean, this, as I said, this is like, you know, you're remembering your hero. So, you know, and it's a great creative way to, you know, remember those we love, and you know, all the stories that they've got, you know, all the stories behind everything. So it's going to be here, there. Look at that. Isn't that cool? I like that. There must be so many stories just in that one photograph. You know, sometimes you wish you could go in and just see what, you know, what was happening back then. So I'm not even sure what year that was taken, but could be the 30s or 40s. Maybe I reckon it could be. Must be the. Looking at the style of dress, must be the 40s. I would think. Right. So I'm just gonna move this out of the way. Move those bits there. Okay. So I'll put this to one side, and we'll have a look at what else we're going to do here. So again, the photograph. Now, what I am going to do is, I think I'm gonna mount that photograph up, because if I'm going to put this on, say, a page here, I would like it to stand out a little bit more. So first things first, I think I'm gonna. So I think I already ripped a bit of this paper, torn it, and again I'm just going to tear the other side of it now. So it's as simply of just just guiding yourself, just tearing it. There's not that much knack to it. You can do it backwards and forwards. Depends on how you want to rip it and how much of that white you want to show. Again, there's lots of ways. If you want to cut it, you can do. It's entirely up to you. So I'm just going to rip this by hand. Okay, and we'll decide. We're going to put this somewhere down here. Again, I'm just going to add that in just a touch. Let's move this camera just a little bit. There we go. So again, I'm not going to butt that up to the edge there. I kind of like that rough edge. I think that works really well. And I'm tempted possibly to have, I might put it a little bit across further. We'll see now. Because I've got this other piece which I want to use as well. And again, I like that because it's got this like in the background of the paper, it's got this like man and woman, and I can see that kind of working together. That's my kind of thoughts on it. So I think I'm going to add that to that one as well. So I'm going to rip this as well. So if I tear this one as well, we're going to have, and the thing is, do you like that on the edge there? I do like that as well. Maybe I'll use that another time. Right, so let me rip this off. It's sacrilege of ripping up a piece of paper, but this is what you're doing when you're creating things. So just tear it down, again, nice and rough. Doesn't have to be perfect. Straightish, if you can. Hi Jeanette. And Handy Scandy. Hey. So if you just joined me, I am doing something brand new. I've never done this before. This is new to me. I am making a scrapbook page. I know. So this is all part of a new campaign by Arden Creative Studio. They are doing a campaign basically for remembering our heroes. So obviously it could be somebody from your family, somebody in your past, just a creative way to honor people, those people we loved, or their families. It's just doing something a little bit different. So that is what I'm doing today, and this is a great campaign as well. There's some great ideas in all of this, and again, you get to keep most of it as well. So it's going to be absolutely amazing. So you can see I'm kind of layering that up now. I think this is going to look, kind of work out when you're obviously scrapbooking. Again, I am new to scrapbooking, but when you are scrapbooking, I would suggest the good thing about it is that you can kind of layer things up and see where you want to place them before you've actually done it. And I'm just trying to work out whether, I'm gonna. It's a lot of ripping going on today, I must admit. I could have cut it with a trimmer, but I kind of like that kind of torn look, and it kind of adds to it maybe. And I like the white core as well. See the white core? That's nice because it can stand out against things as well. So if you do like doing this, feel free to join in. Jeanette's saying, looks like something else that you will excel at. Well, I'm not sure about that, Jeanette. We'll see how it goes. Now, again, just trying to start to create something. When you have an idea in your head about what you want to do or where you want to go with this, it's all kind of new, but I like that. And it's always nice to be able to add more to whatever you're creating as well. So I'm thinking, see, maybe I should have stenciled more here because I'm thinking about maybe I wanted to add a little bit more, go a little bit more further on this side. So now I'm thinking whether to add another layer, which would be nice actually. I might just do that. So if I take another piece of the paper and a third layer, see, because the cardstock is really cool, it's double-sided, so which is nice, and you've got that. It's going to continue in terms of contrast and colour. So that, I think that's going to, I might go underneath actually. So look, there. Okay. So how does that start to look now? We're starting to build up something now. We're going to start to stick stuff down in a minute. When I'm kind of happy with how it's going to look. Susie saying, oh, hubby will be marching with all the veterans on Remembrance Day in London again. All right. That's a long day, yeah. I mean, this is, as I say, this is very similar. Obviously, this is remembering your heroes. But, you know, it's such a nice thing to be able to do. And again, you can move things around here as well into whichever way you want to move them. I think we're starting to look like we're going to create something here, which is good. I've got ephemera as well, and I'm gonna stick those down, and then we've got photographs to do on here as well. So again, it's going to start to become a bit of a page, and I kind of like adding things on here. So do you know what? I might use this as well. I might use let's have a look. Oh yes, I'm thinking I might use some of the new tape as well. That would look really cool. Yeah, something's coming together in one way. Okay, so I think I'll make a start by sticking some things down. So the first piece I'll stick down is this here, which is the lowest layer. And we'll get some glue. Yeah, if it works. So what's everyone else been up to today? I mean, who else does scrapbooking is a good question. Have you tried scrapbooking before? I would love to know, which would be amazing. Now, some things to remember about this is that you're going to be able to, you know, if you want to create a page and then share it, that's going to be absolutely amazing. You can do all that. Let's get this out of here now. Okay, so just get your glue out. And there are links and everything where you can do that. I shall give you that info, and we will put it up as well on after. Okay, let's put this here. And again, you could use your tape if you want to. It's entirely up to you. Anything that's obviously you're creating stuff, you want that to be kind of acid and lignin free, so that whatever you're creating does kind of last forever. It's one of those things with scrapbooking that you do need to think about that when you're creating. So again, we'll just go with that here. I think that looks good there. And again, there's no right or wrong in terms of scrapbooking. Once you think you're happy with how you've got it, I would always suggest just go with it. Just go with it. Sometimes there's no right and there's no wrong. Handy Scan is saying, you're home from work but you're sick. Oh no. Ugh. Well, crafting is the cure for most ailments. That's what I say. I think that looks good like that. I think I like having those kind of ripped layers like that. That's good. I like that. So we'll go with this. Again, bear with me. Oh, look at this. Isn't that a great page, that side? And I'm using that side. Ha. Again, if you've got different scrapbooks, pages, and you know, cardstock from different genres, that's fine. As long as you can kind of make it work, go for it. This is from the same artist. This is Katie Petit's line of scrapbooking pages. I think it's from a few different collections, but you know, if it works, it works. So I'm just taking my time here, working out where I'm going to go with this now, where I think I'm going to go with it, and we'll just stick that down. Again, this is a glue that It's pretty permanent once it's stuck down. So as long as you're sure where you're going to go with it, just kind of go with the flow. Right. So I like that so far. I'm consciously thinking about that. I may not have gone as far as I wanted to with my my paste, but we can fill that, and that's one of the good things about scrapbooking is that you can kind of keep on adding stuff and elements, just like card making. That if you think things weren't quite right, is just crack on and carry on. So I think that's going to go there. I do like having that picture there. That kind of works. I think that really does work. Yeah, that does work like that. That's good. Okay, so I'll stick this piece down next. And again, from nothing, you can create something, you know, quite distinctive and quite cool in such a short space of time as well, which I do like. Yes, I do hope. I'm right. Absolutely no mojo. No mojo at all. Oh, come on. You can look. There's, you know, when you lose your mojo, I always say, just start. Grab some card or some paper, and a few inks or sprays. Start spraying, and maybe pick some colours that you wouldn't have used before. You will soon find that something happens that you didn't think was going to happen, and that's when you can your mojo comes back, and you can think, oh, I can do something with that. Grab a stencil. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it is hard. Don't get me wrong. That, you know, there's lots of reasons why people do lose their mojo. You know, it's about carrying on, just getting out there and doing something, I think. So how is that looking already? And again, you know, this part here, I'm going to add to that. This brown patch is annoying me, but you know, we'll sort that out next. Okay, so we've got a base of something that I kind of like. And I like the thing that it's 2 there and 3 there, you see? People go, oh, how's that work? That's cool. Right. Next thing I want to do is, I can see you could put that on there like that. But because this cardstock's brown, I've already got a little piece of brown cardstock, and I'm going to matte that on top. Just to kind of frame it up a little bit. So I'm going to do that to there, and I'll just add that little bit of an edge to it. So I'll get some glue. Now, again, as I say, this is just printed on, I think this is laser printed onto a piece of, not quite photo paper, but a good quality paper. It could be about 250 GSM. Oops. Again, if you've got a good printer, great. Otherwise, just, you know, if you've got photographs, do get them duplicated. Because I wouldn't recommend using your originals. And the thing is, you can always do different pages again. Then, if you're not happy with the layout, you can always change it to make it better. Whereas if you use the originals, I don't think you can do that. Okay, unless you're very careful taking them on and off. Right. So we've got this stuck down now, which is nice. Again, just that slight edge there makes the difference to it, which is good. So I'm looking at my layout, and we've kind of got weighting there, weighting on the left hand side more than the right. So to kind of balance that out, you know, putting something horizontal in is a good idea, I think. So I'm just looking at, I want to use some of my tape, so I'm going to use some of that tape as well. And I'm not sure whether I want to put it over a piece of, no, we'll do that way. It's about getting the right piece of card. See, look, this is the piece I've torn off from there. Maybe I don't want to waste it, maybe I want to use it, but we'll see now. And then I'm also going to use, I do like that on the bottom actually. Might think about that in a second, but I might just put that across there. Kind of like the frill there, and then I think I'm going to use some of that as well. See, it's choices. This is one of the things that you can take your time and just decide when you're creating as to what you do and how you do it. And I kind of like having the clock on there as well as for time. And then we've got this that we can put on here. Yeah. And then I've got some really cool ephemera as well, little cut out pieces of ephemera. If you've got those, then great. If not, I'm sure you can stamp something out. It's entirely up to you how you do it. But I think I kind of like having that there. Maybe I want to have... I'm going to just tear the edge of this on the bottom edge. Just because we're on a roll on tearing things, and this will kind of work nice against the straight edge of the tape. Now you can rip that tape as well in any way you want. But I'm thinking this is going to be nice and smooth and clean against this because my photograph is square as well. So again, just take your time, and again, this is a nice simple layout. Again, I've still got those bits there which are annoying me, but we'll come to them next. So get some glue. I don't like gluing over my butterflies here, so it's just as well that when you get these kind of paper pads of scrapbooking papers, you normally get like at least 3 sheets the same one, so you're never going to waste them. And again, this is about kind of making the photograph kind of a very focal, and you know, it's all about having that right image as well. But it's all about adding things on. I say, whether you've got tickets, you know, anything that you're going to remember your loved one by, that's absolutely fantastic. So again, just take your time, and again, just doing something a little bit different. It's great. Right, now to use my tape. I think I'm going to use this, but again, I could colour this tape if I want to, but I think it looks quite nice like that. We've got that black and white thing going on there. We've got the black and white photograph that will tie in together. That's going to work. So I'm going to tape that down, cut a piece off. I'm just catching up with what everyone's saying. Crikey, you've been chatting away. Can you post a link to Jane's challenge? I do love an ATC. Yes, we can, or somebody else can if they know the link. Ellie's saying she's already doing colour swatching as a simple creative. Ah, that's a good idea. That's a great idea, Handy. That's a very good way to get things going. I didn't think it was a pep talk. I wasn't trying to give you a pep talk. It's just a case of sometimes, you know, everyone goes through it. Everyone does, you know. You know, whether you're doing stuff all the time, yeah. Whether you're doing lives, whether you're doing TV work, everyone gets those kind of blocks, and sometimes you just gotta do. Sometimes revisiting things that you've done in the past as well is always a good idea. You know, whether you saw something and you go, I wish I'd have made that better, or I wish I'd have done that differently. That's a great way of getting your mojo going. Just seeing what you could have made something better last time that you didn't do, or you wish you had done. Yeah, revisiting some past projects is a good idea as well. So I'm just kind of seeing where I'm going to put this. And again, I'm just kind of, this is by eye now. I'm not, I should use a ruler, but I'm hoping it's straight. Right, okay, I think we're getting there. Is it straight? Yes, that's not too bad. That's quite straight, that. Considering I can't lean over the camera because my head would be in the way, I think I did a good job there. Right, okay, let's cut this off. Now this is the PET tape. Again, you can colour this as well, but I'm keeping it black and white today and letting that colour of the paper behind come through. And it's nice to be able to kind of just create something that, you know, it's not something that you have to give to anybody. It's just something for yourself, you know, and that is, if that's not a mojo breaker, I don't know what is. You know, you're not doing it for anybody else, you're just doing it for yourself. So I'm just cutting those excess pieces off now, and we've got kind of like something pretty basic here, but it's starting to come together. And as a very first scrapbook page for myself, I can say, you know, I'm quite liking this already. I had no real preconceived ideas of what I was going to do with this today, in terms of, besides ripping some paper, that was about as far as I got. Now, we're starting to come together there. We need a little bit more. This is going to have to come into play somewhere. I kind of like the idea of kind of adding. I'm conscious about them. Right, okay. I see what I'm going to do now. See, I didn't want to cover this lady up here. So, if I was going to put it in the centre, that's good. Or you can put it to the side, but it'll also work quite nice. Just a little bit off centre as well. And that will also help with this brown piece that's been annoying me. Again, you can add this to it now. So this is where you can start to work on what you're going to do and how it's going to work together. Again, I don't have all the ideas, but I'm kind of laying a few bits and pieces on, and then when you're kind of happy with it, just reading what some of the comments here whilst I'm Handy Scanner said I did some watercolour paints, maybe they'll sit here and swatch them out. That's a good idea. You cut, right, okay, I could cut the lace pattern out of the paper like a trim. Yes, I could. Oh, that one there. Yeah, I could do that. If I had the inclination and the time, because that actually would look quite good as a lace trim, you're right. Doing it live on camera though, I may have to do that afterwards, but I can see your point. I get your point there. That would look quite nice as well, because we do have some lace trim at the top, don't we? So yeah, I can see that working. Maybe I'll cut that out afterwards. I do have some other ephemera as well. I don't know what I've got here. I just grabbed a handful of things. I don't even know whether they'll all go together. I'm not sure about butterflies because I'm not sure that's going to be the right kind of colour. We've got all kinds of things. Seek and find. No, that's not going to work. Again, I'm just looking for the right kind of colours here. Favourite. I like that because it's in brown. So I might put that to one side. It's just grabbing things that you think are going to work. See, if you had real tickets as well. See, that's a nice thing to have as well. Is tickets. So these are great ephemera there. Might use that one. What else have we got here? Memories. I could use favourite memories. Okay, that's a nice one. What else do I have? No, that's no good. I say it's no good. It's no good for this particular project. It's not a case of it's no good. It's not what I want. There's another tag there as well, and I like that colour as well. So again, it's about building up a scene. It's how you want to create stuff. And just kind of have a play and create as you're going along. Again, just having a few ideas here about how things might work. Again, you can change the layout and the layers. I do like that's a nice one to have. Favourite memories. Might have that up there actually. So we can see something starting to come together. It's nearly there. It's not quite there. Oh, we've got this one here as well. Let's say this time. It says this time. I like that. Might have that come out the bottom there like that. Again, you can lay it out however you want to. I'm just having a look here. I've got an airplane here. I can't see it. I don't think that's going to work with what I'm going to create. Not today. I prefer the flower to the airplane. I like the airplane, but I don't think it's going to work with this. Again, there's no set right, no wrong in doing all of this. So, what's this one here? We've got an empty tag there as well. See, if I had a stamp, I haven't got anything to put in there. I'll leave that today. I think that's empty. But you can see exactly where I'm going with this now, and I'm going to stick some things on here, and we'll see whether we have something at the end of it that looks how you would want to create a scrapbook page. And again, this is all. I mean, you can put one photograph on here. I'm starting small with an 8x8, but if you want to go full on with a 12x12, be my guest. Go for it. Obviously, I'm starting off with a slightly smaller one, an 8x8, but I can build upon this now because I kind of know what I want to do with it. Again, from those simple ideas here, the copper came into it because obviously kind of brown and the copper, kind of older times. Yeah, so you can do an awful lot. Maybe I'll put some copper on the edge of there as well. Could do that. Right, okay, we'll see that now. So I'm just going to start sticking things down and deciding where I'm going to put something, and we're just going to go for it. And we'll go with the flow. Right, let's get some glue. So again, you can stick it down permanently with some glue, and I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to use silicone glue on this one here because I want the ability to possibly slide something underneath it, and that will give me that ability to do that because it'll take a little bit longer to dry, which is great. Again, you can have your page totally flat, you can have layers on it, you can build it up to maybe a few more dimensions on there. There's no rules in terms of scrapbooking. You can do it any way you wish to, which is great. I'm just reading some of the comments here. Yes, inclination, Ellie, inclination. It's all about inclination. Yes, love the black and white sepia tones together. Yeah, it's you know some old photographs. You know, like you see a lot about where people like they have the colorized photographs from or colorized film that you see on TV. It doesn't feel the same as to me like 1940s was in like black and white. I don't know. Those times go 1800s black and white. You know, I can't think of it as being in color. Obviously, it was. But, you know, we remember those kind of in films, it's black and white. So maybe that's how we think. Right, so I'm just going to slightly move those out of the way. I'm going to commit to where I'm placing this. Again, I'm moving it just to the side there because I want to cover that little brown spot there as well. And I still got that lovely face of that lady there as well. I don't actually know who she is. Maybe should ask Katie Petite. Maybe she knows. Again, so we've got that. That's a start, and commit to it. You know, you can't go wrong, and it's all about kind of balance. Again, you may have seen there's a slight kind of balancing act going on here in terms of how something looks. And it's all about the kind of weighting, the crisscross and the weighting. You kind of get my drift as to when we're creating things. That's nice. I like that. Not normally a flowery person, but I can see that working with that. So I've got to use that. Okay, it's one of the first things I grabbed, so I'm going to use that. So as I said, we're gonna, please, I would encourage you all to join in for the remembering the heroes. It's a great thing. This is something that's been created by Arden Creative Studios. It is just about sharing things, creating and sharing. It's going to be amazing if you can create something, whether it be an 8x8, 12x12 scrapbook pad. It's just a way to start remembering those people who are gone, especially who have maybe were in the forces, or those people who had to stay at home and probably they had the hardest job of all. So again, I'm just looking at, I don't want the flower to go underneath there at the moment. I think I'm going to keep that there just a little bit. Again, using the silicone glue, we can actually wiggle things around and move it around, and just create something that's going to work. So again, I might put this time, I'm going to think about that one in a minute down there, but these here are going to look good. Again, I never really, in terms of scrapbooking pages, there's, again, I kind of like subconsciously I'm kind of working still on my waiting and seeing how things go. So again, I kind of like top right to bottom left, and we kind of got like balancing act there going on, just so that it looks with the eye and it looks decent. Okay, so just commit to it and just go for it. Yeah, Handy Scandy saying, I love the idea of celebrating our heroes. Yet it's brilliant. that's brilliant. Your son is a wounded warrior. Oh, amazing, absolutely amazing. That's an interesting way to put glue. Is it? Oh, you mean doing it like that? Oh, is that what you mean, Susanna? So yeah, this is like this is pin flare. This is 3D gel glue. Like it's a type of silicone glue, but it doesn't smell. It's really cool stuff. I use this all the time. So always kind of squeeze. If you can see, you can see that there. Squeeze there so you get some out, and then just flick it off the edge there. No, try not to get on the edge there. So try again. So you squeeze, flick it off, and you've got a nice blob on there. So again, just stick that down. Again, it's very easy to do it this way. I think I probably learned this trick off my good friend Pauline. So I'm going to place that down there. Now, just slightly, I can slide that just underneath that there like that. It's nice to have layers, and it looks like you're building something up there from nothing, which is nice. And I like that tag there as well. Again, you don't have to, you don't have to have everything square either. You can, put out angles if you want to. It's entirely up to you how you do it. And that, I like favourite memories there. That's really cool. So we are definitely going to use that. I'm just in a quandary whether to put this straight or not. There's no right or wrong. This is the thing, you can put it any way you want to. Mark uses that glue instead of using foam squares. Yeah, very true, Ellie. Yeah, I do use this instead of foam squares. But if you want to use foam squares, use them. I just sometimes find them very tricky, especially if you've stuck something down and then once or twice I've had to kind of peel it off because it was in the wrong place, and maybe it's pulled the paper or something underneath you've created. It's just annoying. And this stuff goes a long way. You've got like half an hour, maybe to an hour for it to dry. So you've got plenty of wiggling room there, and you can just work out where you want to put your project. I think I'm going to place that just there, slightly underneath there, and again just lifting that up and slide that underneath, just because we want an extra layer there. So again, we're starting to come together now with, I say, there are lots of pages whether you want to do things with butterflies, but I didn't think this really kind of worked with butterflies today, so I'm not using those. I just found this thing here with friends. That's quite nice as well. Might use that instead, actually. Yeah. Might use that there. I think that's a good idea. One of the things that you can procrastinate, as I do quite often with lots of things, but it's nice to be able to just go for it. I'm not sure about being a smart man. My wife would definitely not say that I'm a smart man. Right. Okay, do you know what, I'm going to slide that slightly underneath there. All I can say is, if people could, if they could see this now, they'd be, I think they'd probably be very honoured to be featured, and not only that, how they think that how the world is now, technology, all this. The whole world can, in theory, can see all of this, what I'm doing currently. Everyone around the globe, they would never believe that was possible. Wow, how so many things have changed. And that's why it's so important to be able to kind of keep those memories. This has got me going, actually. I think I want to start doing scrapbooking all the time. This could be my new little thing to do. Okay, so we've got a favourite there. And I'll put memories there as well. So favourite memories. And again, this was kind of created pretty quickly. I mean, you can obviously add more to it if you want to. I might find something else in a minute. We'll have a look. If I'm happy with it, I'll stop. If I'm not happy, well, then I'll just carry on for a little bit longer. So I'm just Ivy, where have you been? Right, so Ivy, I am doing my very first scrapbooking page. This is my very first scrapbooking page. Never done scrapbooking before. So this is my great grandmother. What's your excuse, Ivy? I might have to give you detention. Normally you're the very first person. So I was very surprised when I came on and your little pop-up didn't appear. So there, I think what favourite memories, I think that's nice there as well. Okay, so I'm just trying to look at that now. Let me just kind of zoom in a little bit so you can see a bit more there. So again, very first kind of scrapbook page. I don't think my the camera shows my that was my auntie, who really wasn't my auntie, but she kind of did have I always remember she did have kind of teeth a bit like Esther Ranson, but she's such a lovely lady, and she made the most amazing breakfasts ever. Honestly, the most amazing breakfasts. You know, and it's things like that. That's about what's remembering. If I could put some like toast on here, I would, because she honestly did make the most amazing breakfast, full-on breakfast ever. Absolutely loved her for that. Here's me talking about food again, isn't it? You have 10 boxes of stuff ready for scrapbooking. Well, get out, Ivy. Look, if I can do it in, I don't know, an hour, and I've never done this before, I'm sure you can. So this, if you're late to the party, Ivy, oh, thank you, Jeanette. Jeanette's saying it's gorgeous. Thank you. So, Ivy, if you're late to the party, this whole thing is a new campaign from Arden Creative Studios. It's called Remembering Our Hero or Heroes. Okay, so this is about telling stories about whether it be somebody that was in the forces or your families, the people who left behind. It's absolutely amazing. They're wanting people to do it all around the country, all around the world. So it's a way to preserve stories of, love, courage, and connection. Obviously, that's my great-great grand there. It's my auntie, who turned out was not my actual auntie. I know. I only found that out recently, but I'm not sure I'm not really sure why she was taken in by my grandmother at the time. I'm not sure why that happened. There was something happened, but so she obviously became part of the family, and hence that's why we all called her auntie. But I did not know she wasn't a blood relative until only a few years ago, which is strange. So there's going to be hashtags. So we'll put all this in a description on YouTube, and we'll do that on Facebook as well. So you really want to do this. You can share it on social media from the 4th of November to the 11th using the hashtag Remembering Our Hero, which is really cool, very simple. Tag Arden Creative Studios so they can celebrate your story as well with you. Obviously, I think it's a great idea. There's so many things you can do. I've just started scrapbooking, so I'm just reading this. I was saying I would follow that page. Oh, yes. Food. You can make another page dedicated to your aunt and her breakfast. Wow, that is very true. Would that be a scratch and sniff? Oh, that's funny. Honestly, I remember she used to cook me when we used to go up to Scotland. She used to cook breakfast every single morning, and we're talking about a whole loaf of bread, toasted as well. So and you felt obliged to eat all. You couldn't eat anything for the rest of the day, honestly. She used to cook so much for us. Absolutely fantastic. If you're having a breakfast in Scotland, you're not going to go hungry. Yes. So yeah, my auntie was from Scotland, and my great grandmother. So from Scottish blood is running through me. Yeah, isn't that? So again, very simple. This is an 8x8 page today. Again, if you've not really done scrapbooking before, like myself, great place to start because it's only slightly bigger than a card, really. Normally I work on a 6x6 card, so this is an 8x8, obviously going up a little bit more in size. When you get to 12x12, you've got more space to maybe put more than one photograph on. But again, I could put 2 smaller photographs on, but I think one works really, really well. Again, ephemera, there's lots of bits and pieces, whether you're stamping stuff out, whether you're putting texture paste on, whether you're just adding whatever you want to do it. Stamping, stenciling, inking, spraying, entirely up to you how you do it, and whether this is, obviously this is for remembering our hero, but you know, if you're into scrapbooking anyway, if you're doing it for your children or your grandchildren, maybe you want to use something brighter, and you know, Arden have you covered in terms of all that kind of stuff there. But as I say, it's not about trying to sell you anything or promotion today. It's the only promotion I'm talking about is remembering our hero. That's what this campaign's all about. So I'm glad you love it, Susanna. That's great. Thank you so much. And Ali's saying fabulous page. Well, not bad for a beginner, I say. I've got some random tape here. Yeah, it's you know, again, maybe I want to add a few more pieces there. Maybe I will cut that out and add some lace on the bottom. I might do that. But yeah, I can see that working as well. Again, you can do it very simply. You don't have to do stenciling. You can just add layers of paper, or just use a whole printed piece of paper. It's entirely up to you. I like adding a few different layers just to get that kind of look, and it's a little bit of a contrast going on there. But in terms of a first page, it's it's nice, you know. It's different. Again, you can be as clean and simple or as full on as you possibly want to be. Again, I've still got loads of ephemera here that I didn't use, but you know, that's the way it goes. You know, sometimes you think, oh, you're going to use something and it doesn't work. You can use, you know, stamp your own ephemera if you want. There's plenty of VI stuff that you can use as well. But whatever you want to use, you can do that as well. So that is pretty. I think I'm quite happy with that as a very first project in terms of scrapbooking. I will put hey, you're back. I will put all the links up that you may want to use, all the hashtags as well, so that you can actually create your own and share it. I'm not sure what they're going to do with all those, but I'm sure they're going to be sharing those everywhere as well. So I think it's a great thing to do, especially now. The winter's here. This morning I woke up, it was black, and it's still black outside now. So, you know, in those winter evenings, it's great time to making scrapbooks, making more card projects. I hope you enjoyed that tonight. It was definitely something a little bit different for me. So I shall leave you now, and don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, thank you very much for taking your time tonight. I will read all of those comments afterwards, and I shall put all the information that you may need. If you want anything, then please do give me a shout, and I'll point you in the right direction for anything. In terms of what you need to do to be able to share your own project, what hashtags you need to use as well. So I think it's a great cause. Thank you very much for watching, everybody, and take care. I'll see you soon. Bye bye now.